In this case, we have another interesting one, which is user agent search for log4j. So basically, it will run the query against various log sources having user agent data to look for this. Basically, user agent data can be in any of these services. This log4j script or log4j file can be residing, or the variants can be residing in my 365 SharePoint, in one of these, and somebody can get access to it and then get the initial access based on that. So again, here I have some log sources because I do not have Zscaler and all that. That's fine. If I were to have firewall from the Azure, it would have been showing there. But at least in our example, we have a 365, which I told you, make sure you set it up, start ingesting the log. If you just started looking at this video, you have to set up your tenant. You have to start ingesting the log. So does Azure Active Directory. These are the data connectors available. You can just pull the data directly through an API. Simple and pretty easy. And things you don't see here, most likely the case because of the Azure Premium 2 license subscription, which I don't have. I'm using P1. And then exploit public facing application. Basically, that's what it's mapping to MITRE framework. Now, if I come here, initial access, we're talking about exploit public facing application because Exchange, SharePoint, these are all public faces. And that's what it is. Listen, hi. Create, I can test this. That the simulation works fine without any error. Once that's been done, if you want to add any custom field, which I would suggest you to leave it if you are doing it first time, then you can always play around with that. Run query every 1 day for Log4j. Look up data from the last 1 days. If you're running every day, you want to do it. If you run every 3 days, so you don't want to skip, you got to be 3 days. So if you want to do 1 day, then you're going to skip the 2 days. So that's why we have to make sure you cover these things. Group all events and then enable it. And it should be enabled. Validation, this is the whole script there. It's going to look for W3. This is if you remember, it's an IS. There used to be an information server, web server, Azure Diagnostic Log. If you have logs being collected from AWS CloudTrail, you see, so it's also supported. You can set up a connector and then create it. So here it shows you that is in being used.